Hi there, and welcome to my video discussing my final year project NiceC2. I'll be giving an overview of my project, then I'll be giving a sort of technical demonstration and showing off some of the features of the project. Firstly, what is NiceC2? NiceC2 is a command and control or C2 system designed to allow you to remotely access machines without having a direct way of connecting with them. The idea for this project came while I was on a train trying to access a file on my home server. My dynamic DNS service had stopped working. The IP address of my home network had changed, which means I couldn't see my device to connect to it. I needed some way to communicate with the file server in my home without knowing where on the internet this file server now was. I thought back to a command and control system I'd seen. There was a piece of malware that sat on a device, regularly checked a website for a file. If the file was there, the malware would download the file and execute any code in that file. This could be used for conducting attacks such as a DDoS. I thought the system was cool because the infected devices could move around, change networks and IP addresses, but could still get their instructions from the command server. Now, on the command and control system I saw, there was no security. There was no validation, everything was over HTTP. Every infected system would get the same file. I thought to myself, if there was a way of signing and encrypting the connection between the infected machine and the server, and a way of giving each affected machine access to its own set of commands, and a way to send responses back, so two-way communication, you could turn this into a legitimate remote management tool. The main problem NiceC2 aims to solve is connecting to a machine you do not have a direct network connection to. This could be because the device is connected to something like mobile data, or is on a different network to you and port forwarding hasn't been set up for the device. NiceC2 is for more technical individuals who may have a number of machines they wish to access over several networks, maybe networks they don't have full control over, like friends or family. NiceC2 allows them to access these systems without the need to set up port forwarding or a VPN. NiceC2 is also open source and freely available, so it's cheaper than other paid software that does a similar thing. Zoho Assist, a remote support solution that supports unattended access, is £10 a month for the standard edition, which comes with a device limit. NiceC2 has been developed to be free and open source, and that's always been sort of the idea of the project, to have any commercial aspirations for it. I don't think it would work commercially, simply because if you're installing a piece of software on your device that gives remote access to that software over the internet, you're going to want to make sure that you can trust that piece of software. So that was definitely a thought with NiceC2. So NiceC2 has an advantage over stuff like Zoho Assistant because it's free and open source. Once the server code has been installed onto the system, NiceC2 can be accessed by using the simple command NiceC2. Here we see a welcome screen. If we go to the help menu, we can see a list of commands available to us. Note how the menu is formatted to be compatible with different sizes of terminal window. Let's use the ls command to see which nodes are available to us. At the moment, we only have one available node. This is my Raspberry Pi. To add a node, we need to first have the server certificate. This can be accessed using the command cert. I can copy this certificate here and go over to my Mac. Then from within the agent file within NiceC2, I can create a new server file called server.crt, paste in the certificate info required, note new server file there, then run the installer. So first I need to build the project here, then on Mac OS, because it runs into the user context rather than root context, we can just run the agent like this. The agent will then install itself onto the system and will run on boot. So at the moment you can see it running live, and this is to help debugging, and it would help an admin know that the system is working. So this can be stopped and the system be rebooted and the agent will pop back up. But the reason why we have the 200 coming down the screen is to just let any admin know that the system is working. This, of course, wouldn't be visible to a normal user, as NiceC2 runs in the background. When the computer starts up, the user doesn't even see that it's there. A quick reboot later, and if we run the ls command again, we can see that now two devices connected. my Raspberry Pi, and my MacBook Air. As you can see, as I type ls again, the last check-in time is refreshed. NiceC2 checks in about once a second, so you get a nice quick response time. As you can see in the NiceC2 interface, the clear command works. So let's run a command on my MacBook. So we can either use the ID or the host name for setting the device. So let's use Jasper's Air, see how it appears in the prompt here. And let's run a command on it. Let's show its host name. Using the exclamation mark, I note that I want to run a shell command on the system. A task has been submitted. There you go, a task has been completed on the node. I can do lots of things with this, like using the help menu. I can ls to see all the nodes that are connected. I can use a node specifying that's the node that I want to use while working. I can see all the tasks for a specific node that it might be waiting for if it's completed. That way I can go back in time and look at something that's already done. I can run a command on a specific node using either the exclamation mark command or run the node name, then exclamation mark command. I can shut down nodes, reboot nodes, send files, get files, list all the payloads that are available to send to the node, because as a security measure, all the payloads are stored in a special payloads folder, so a rogue node can't go requesting whatever files it wants from the server. I can view the loot, view all the files that have been downloaded, I've already shown that, show the certificate needed to make new files, and exit the NiceC2 interface. On my phone, I'm going to demonstrate the main functionality of NiceC2, which is that it can control machines on multiple different networks. So if we do a curl ifconfig.me, we can see Jasper's Air's IP address, and then if we use Jasper's Pi, which is in a different house, but is the device that also runs the VPN and the command server, so it would show up as the same IP address because I'd be VPN'd into it. We can see that they both have completely different public IP addresses because they are on different networks. NiceC2 is capable of fetching files and sending files to the nodes. So let's use Jasper's Air again. I have a file here in user Jasper desktop test called testfile.txt. Note how there's no other files there. I can retrieve that file using the get file command. I specify the path, so it's in users Jasper desktop test, and it's called test_file.txt. That will create a task on the server. Agent goes and fetches the task, runs the task. That's what takes a little bit of time. We can see here that it's been successful. It is a robust system. See, I can put in a path for a file that doesn't exist. Test, let's do it, file with a dash rather than an underscore. That's because I typed get file wrong as well, extra errors. Users Jasper desktop test file spelt wrong txt. Cool, if I do that, it will create another task for me on the system with a task ID of 7. Wait for a second, and you can see it's failed, and we get a nice little error message. Now, we've fetched these files from the nodes. Where have they gone? I can use the command loot to see my loot folder, and in my loot folder is all the files I've gotten. As we can see the test file that we've gotten here, and there's also uni laptop background, which is a file I got earlier. The path to the loot folder is also here, so I can come out of NiceC2, cd into that folder, and actually interact with the files there. And of course, what type of terminal application would it be without a cool exit message? Thanks for watching my video, and please give me a good grade.